First, consider this recent market survey of U.S. automobile buying patterns by J.D. Powers and Associates. It revealed that over one-third of all male car buyers deliberately visited their local dealership when it was closed just so they could spy on the cars when no one else was around. Why would they do this? After all, how much useful information can a potential car buyer get with their nose pressed up against a display window or peering through a chain link fence? Obviously not much. And yet, the average car salesperson honestly believes that their customers choose to purchase their next car based on a selection of features, such as the way the car handles or its gas mileage. These salespeople have no clue that these traditional features are secondary consideration at best to the customer. To the typical consumer, the purchase of a new car doesn't just mean a way to get around town. If they did, wouldn't everyone buy their next car based solely on price? And wouldn't the cheapest model be the world's market leader? All small business owners need to wake up to the fact that we decide to buy the things we do based on emotion. We only use logic to justify the purchase. When a customer buys a new car, they're looking for a certain feeling that exists within them. That new car represents something about them personally, and they want their purchase to reflect whatever that feeling is. A fast, sporty-looking car may provide a perceived image of power, youth, adventure, and success. A hybrid or electric car may provide a perceived image of forward thinking, freedom from high gas prices, a conservative mindset, and easy mobility. The customer looking for the sports car is not going to buy a minivan, and the minivan buyer isn't interested in a compact car. So does this mean that facts never come into play? Not at all. Remember, we buy based on emotion, but we justify the purchase with facts. As crazy as it sounds, most of us use facts to confirm the choices we have already made. Facts validate the decision we make every day. They just come into play at the end of our buying experience, not at the beginning. This may be the single biggest mistake most business owners make when they market their product or service. Very few customers make major buying decisions by creating a checklist of positive and negative attributes. We don't do it for the cars we drive, the friends we choose, the house we buy, or the person we marry. We don't even do it when we decide on the profession we choose, even fields like engineering and science that are fact-based businesses. In our day-to-day lives, we actually make very few decisions based on facts and figures. Instead, we rely mostly on senses. We match the things we experience and compare them with familiar past patterns that our collective experiences tell us will meet our needs. When people move, they tend to gravitate towards neighborhoods that mirror their values and behaviors. When the radio is on in the car, we prefer music that reminds us of the music of our youth. Ever find yourself reaching for the audio control in your car when that song that was special to you in high school suddenly comes on the radio? We do this because it works most of the time. Indeed, we couldn't function at all if we had to analyze every decision as if it were a new situation. We simply wouldn't have the time or mental bandwidth. Our thought process has been honed over 1,000 centuries of human evolution, enabling us to instantly assess new situations as either potentially dangerous or extremely desirable. We have an almost instantaneous ability to unconsciously recognize certain patterns that aid us in making quick decisions. Did you know that 90% of all new product advertising fails despite being market tested in advance? That's because this testing uses logic-based approaches such as consumer surveys and focus groups. But we don't make our buying decisions based on logic. People make decisions based on emotion. In other words, they buy what they want, not what they need. A brand new Lamborghini cost over $300,000 to buy, and yet there's not one person on the planet who needs a Lamborghini. There are a lot of people, however, who want one, and that's how Lamborghini stays in business. That's why I've been stressing over and over that for any business to be successful, you must stand out from the crowd. You must offer exceptional and extraordinary value. You must have a compelling message that lets your target customer know that your product or service is different from all others on that market, and that you offer them so much value that they would be foolish to buy from anyone else. Previously, we discussed selecting a specific target customer and focusing in on what it is they specifically want. This is often referred to as selecting a niche market. When you stop trying to market to every single person who may need what you sell, and instead focus on those select customers who want a specific solution to a specific problem they have, you immediately stand out from the crowd, and you will quickly dominate this entire market. Prospects want to deal with the expert, and for the smart small business owner willing to break from the pack and market to a specific segment of a much larger market, the prospects interested in what they sell will be instantly drawn to them. But you can't stop there. Your competition will quickly see what you're doing, and they will begin to move in on your newly formed area of expertise. Now you must innovate your business by adding products or services that your business offers so much value that your prospects would be foolish to go elsewhere. In this presentation, we'll show you how to specifically define what your prospects want. We'll show you how to innovate everything you do in your business. That way, when your target customer comes to you for a solution to their problem or frustration, they quickly discover that you offer a solution that blows away your competition. We're going to walk you through the steps that will allow you to identify once and for all exactly what your target customers want, and the innovations that will position you as your market's top value provider. Always remember that your prospects don't buy price, they buy value. Innovate your business properly, and you will never compete on price again. In fact, you can often raise your price possibly to the highest level in your industry. So let's get started. To quickly uncover what your target clients want, there are 4 simple steps to follow. Step 1, look at the world from your target customer's point of view. Try your best to mentally step into their shoes, so to speak, and visualize how they feel about their current situation. If you're a child psychologist and your target customer is a frustrated parent dealing with a screaming, hyperactive, uncontrollable child, then position yourself in the exact same situation and ask yourself this: if I were this parent, what would I want? What is the problem I have, and what is the solution I want? If you're an employment screening company that specializes in performing background checks, and your target customer is a restaurant owner hiring new staff, what would they want? What problems are they experiencing in the hiring process? And what would solve those problems for them? By stepping into the actual situation of the target customer, you quickly get a feel for the anger, resentment, frustration, and so on that they're feeling. Those are the emotions that will drive them to buy what you sell. If what you sell will really offer them the solution they seek. And that's the entire purpose of this presentation. In order to effectively market your product or service, you must understand the emotions that are at play in the minds of your target prospects. Those are the emotions that drive them to seek out and pay for your solution. That leads us to step 2. Once you identify what your target customers specifically want, you need to ask yourself if your business truly offers them what they want. The child psychologist's target customer wants their kid to stop the yelling and screaming. So the psychologist must offer a solution that quickly gives the customer exactly what they want. The restaurant owner wants a speedy yet safe way to check out the qualifications of new applicants they're considering hiring. So the screening company must offer a solution that does exactly that. But here's an important point as you go through this exercise for your own business. Typically, your business will offer some form of solution for the vast majority of the problems your target customer is experiencing. But if you examine your solutions closely, they're the exact same solutions your competition offers. And since you both offer the exact same thing, value is now reduced to the business of offering the lowest price. That leads us to step 3, perhaps the most important step you will ever take as a small business owner. You must offer exceptional and extraordinary value to your prospects, and the only way to do that consistently is to innovate your business. Ask yourself what you and your business can do or provide that will be viewed by your prospects as going that extra mile. The child psychologist may offer a free 1-hour stop the screaming session to the parent just to prove to these prospects that the doctor's solution actually works. By offering them proof before the prospect has to make a commitment for the doctor's services. The doctor has added tremendous value right up front. The background screening company could offer the restaurant owner actual case studies where they have worked with other restaurant owners and show them physical documentation how their service saved those restaurant owners from a legal nightmare or helped them increase their short-term revenue and profits. Innovation is about creating new systems, enhancing existing systems, and doing things in a better way. You must strive to innovate everything your business does because the goal of innovation is improvement. You obviously can't innovate everything at once, so which areas of your business should you focus on now and which ones will have to wait a while? That's the purpose of this presentation. It all comes down to the question of wants versus needs. Your customers buy what they want, not what they need. This presentation helps you identify exactly what your target customers wants. Innovate these areas first, and your revenue will skyrocket. For the child psychologist, they may innovate their business by offering a proven and tested 30-day process where other doctors in this field typically require 60 days. Or perhaps the doctor is so certain their treatments work long-term that they're willing to guarantee their results for an entire year instead of their peers who offer 90 days. The employment screening company may offer personality profile matching along with their screening service. They may actually create the perfect candidate profile based on the specific job requirements, then offer to test each applicant and provide a full report on each applicant to the company. Think many other screening companies do all of that? No way. This brings us to step 4. Once you innovate the areas of your business that create exceptional value, it's time to pile on the value even more by creating a list of the specific benefits your target customer will enjoy as a direct result of your innovations. The child psychologist would list benefits such as restore peace and quiet back into your home, eliminate all the stress in your life, regain your family's love and respect, enjoy your time together each and every day. For the screening company, they would list benefits such as get the right person in the right job every time, reduce absenteeism and no-shows, which relieves the owner's stress and worry when it comes to staff attendance and performance. Let's go back to our child care facility and go through the entire process to show you exactly how this works and how it ties back to your target customer profile. Physically, we originally identified the ideal child care customers as either male or female, 21 to 45 years old, single or married, 1 to 3 kids between the ages of 3 months up to 5 years old, employed outside the home, and with an annual income somewhere between $20,000 and $250,000 per year. In other words, any human being with kids under 6 that works outside the home and doesn't have a friend or relative that can watch them during the day needs the services of a child care center. But then we asked ourselves this: what do all of those parents want? What is their emotional profile? What are their hot buttons? What are their problems, the fears, the frustrations or concerns they have as they begin to face the reality that their situation is forcing them to place their young child into the custody of strangers? What are they experiencing emotionally? We said that some of them want an affordable price. Some want a caring, loving environment, and others are looking for educational options. It's imperative that child care owners define each and every one of these niche market segments. Once they do, they must choose the one they're most passionate about. They must select the one niche market that they want to specialize in. Whichever niche market they select, they must look back at their original physical profile and revise any characteristics that may have changed. As an example, let's say your child care owner selected a caring, loving environment as their niche market. What would their revised physical profile look like? The genders, marital status, number of kids, and employment status all remain the same as the original profile. But notice what changes now. Providing child care with specialized services like a loving environment will be much more expensive than child care that offers basic babysitting services. A child care facility that provides a loving environment will be required to offer services such as a much lower staff-to-child ratio, a nutritionist preparing daily meals, mandatory staff training and safety, frequent staff rotations to keep the staff mentally alert and prevent adult burnout when dealing with kids, and so on. Instead of appealing to 21 to 45-year-olds, a loving environment appeals to prospects who can afford to pay for these more expensive childcare services. They will need to be earning much more discretionary income, and their average age will reflect that increase. The revised physical profile would be 30 to 45 years of age. The age of the child now comes into question as well. Most parents want child care that offers a loving environment when their kids are 3 months old up to 3 years old, probably because these are considered the most critical years for kids emotionally. So that physical trait changes somewhat from our original. And the income level must now be revised, since this type of child care will be approximately twice as expensive as the affordable child care is. The annual income is now $70,000 to $250,000. But now you know who these prospects are and what they specifically want. You now understand the hot button issues that will affect their thought process. Remember, they buy based on emotion, so what emotions are at play that will have a tremendous impact on their thought process? Our thought process matrix can help us map this out. Let's quickly review this form so you can see how it works. The form itself is divided into 4 individual rows. We refer to row 1 as the what they want statement row. We want you to use this row to put yourself into your target customer's shoes and define what it is they want. The second row is the what you do now statement row. We want you to use this row to define what your business currently does to give them what they want. Row 3 is the really important one. This is the row you will use to define what your business could do to dramatically exceed what they want. This is your innovation row. This is the row that will help you to revolutionize your business by creating exceptional and extraordinary value that will be unmatched by your competition. And because your prospects buy based on emotion instead of logic, row 4 is the row to record the benefits your ideal client receives from your innovations. You will use this row in all of your future marketing collateral to continually emphasize the benefits your prospects will receive when using your product or service. Let's use this thought process matrix to map out this process as it applies to our child care example. Let's assume we have chosen the category of customers that want their child to have a loving, caring environment. That's our chosen niche market. Now let's ask ourselves, what would we want from a child care facility that specializes in providing a loving, caring environment? Asking this question and imagining our own kids being at this facility makes it fairly easy to create a list of our own wants. For example, when it comes to a child care providing a loving environment, here's how some parents may fill in column 1. I want to know that my child is safe and that the staff is paying very close attention to them. Would you agree that this is basically what's going through most parents' minds? This is one of the major hot button issues that are in play. There may be others as well. For example, I want staff members who don't get irritated or frustrated when dealing with kids all day long. I want to know for sure that my child is being well cared for by competent staff members. Remember how we keep saying that hot buttons represent the problems, frustrations, fears, and concerns your ideal clients typically experience when they consider buying what you sell? Would you agree these 3 fall perfectly into these categories? Also, don't these seem like reasonable expectations that most parents would have as they consider whether or not to place their child in a child care facility that specializes in providing a loving, caring environment? These are the issues they worry about, and these are the issues they must have resolved before you will ever convince them to place their child in the custody of your child care. And yet, what do the majority of child care facilities focus on? They say things like, we have convenient hours, modern facilities, the lowest prices, and so on. Parents don't care about any of that. They want their specific fears and concerns to be addressed right up front. Are you beginning to see the huge competitive advantage you have just gained over your competition by understanding the relevant hot button issues? So, when you fill this form out for your business, try to come up with as many of these hot button issues as you can that are relevant to your prospects and customers. Then be sure you arrange them in order of priority, from most important to the least important. But we've just gotten started. The best is yet to come. Now that we've analyzed and defined our ideal client's hot buttons, what they want statements, next we want to see if we presently offer products or services that actually solve any of these hot button issues. We need to compare the customer's hot buttons to the child care's existing services to make sure that what the child care offers is a solution to each of those customer hot buttons. In order to help you stay in the proper mindset during this exercise, we recommend starting the sentence in the column 2 with the word we. What do we do at our child care facility as we take into consideration what it is our target customers want? How does our child care presently solve these problems, frustrations, fears, and concerns for our prospective customers? In the first example in column 1, we said parents want to know that their child is safe and that the staff is paying very close attention to them. So the child care owner, using the word we, would write the solution their facility provides in column 2 that matches up with that specific want in column 1. We provide all parents with written monthly incident reports that occur with their child. In the second example, we said parents want staff members who don't get irritated or frustrated when dealing with kids all day long. So the child care owner might write, we rotate our staff members throughout the day to keep them fresh. Our third example says that parents want to know for sure that their child is being well cared for by competent staff members. We contact all past employers and list references during initial hiring process. This is pretty simple, isn't it? First, we simply state the basic problems parents are concerned about when putting their child into childcare that specializes in providing a loving, caring environment. Then we list the solutions the facility presently uses to address those problems. By the way, if you find it difficult to come up with the various issues your prospects and customers want on your own, then simply ask them. Survey several of them to make sure you specifically know what they really want from your business. If you're just starting your business and you don't have any customers yet, focus your survey on several potential prospects that may be considering your product or service, or someone who may currently be using a competitor. If you don't have any prospects, then survey friends, associates, or family members who may have in the past or may currently be using a similar product or service. This is research time well spent, especially when you consider the fact that very few business owners ever take the time to do this type of analysis. Just this one exercise can help you as a business owner dramatically separate your business from your competition. Okay, the solutions we've listed in column 2 are good, but they're not great solutions. In fact, as you look back over them, wouldn't you agree that the solutions we listed in column 2 look typical for this industry and are probably being used by most childcare competitors as well? That indicates there's no real value being offered. So let's change that. Let's ask ourselves, what could we do that would raise the bar so high, create such unique value and extraordinary service that we would automatically stand out from all the other childcare facilities in the area? This is where we're going to ask you to begin to cultivate a unique skill that every business owner must possess, but virtually none of them do. We want you to begin to think outside the box, so to speak, and create new, different, better, and more innovative ways to improve on what you're already doing. Let's brainstorm the various options we could do that helps us innovate our childcare services and take this to another level. And let's use the words we could to get us started and to remind us to get creative and let our imaginations run wild. And if we're going to get creative, we have to agree that no idea is a dumb idea. In fact, if at least 50% of the potential innovations you list in column 3 don't border on the absurd, you're not trying hard enough. Just because you write something down doesn't mean you're committing to doing it. You won't be expected to run right out and implement any of these ideas, not until you've carefully analyzed each of them to make sure they create extraordinary value, and that the offer of positive ROI, which stands for return on investment. Instead, just think of this as an ideas row of what if row. Let your imagination run wild. And you may be thinking, why bother to write down absurd and outlandish possibilities, even if I know the cost would be prohibitive or I know the idea would never work for my business? The reason is fairly simple. An outrageous idea may just lead to new and innovative thoughts that could work for your business. So let's come up with some potential innovations for our childcare facility. Let's start by going back to our first example, the one that said our ideal customer wants to know that their child is safe and that the staff is paying very close attention to them. Right now, all we give them is a monthly incident report that certainly isn't very compelling. But look very closely in column 1 and really analyze what these ideal clients are saying here. They want to know for sure that their child is safe and the staff is paying very close attention to them. How will that ever happen? It's not enough that you offer them assurances that's happening. And if you did offer them assurances, do you really think any of them would ever really believe you? Of course not. I want you as a small business owner to train yourself to think like your prospects think. Put yourself into their same mindset, literally. Pretend you have a child in childcare right now, and then mentally run through a typical day as one of these parents. Here's what that situation would probably look like. You drop your child off at childcare every morning, and then get back into your car and start driving to work. What do you think the typical parent feels during that drive? What are the emotions they're experiencing? What emotions would you be experiencing if you were in that situation? As you're driving to work, you would be feeling remorseful, racked with guilt, frustrated, and enduring a nearly intolerable emotional situation. You're wondering how your child is being treated when you aren't there. Remember, our target customers want to know for sure that their child is safe and the staff is watching them closely. That was our I want statement defining the first hot button issue. These are the raw emotions associated with that hot button issue. We've discussed many times the fact that your prospects buy based on emotion. It's critical that you flesh out these emotions and thoroughly understand them so you can create marketing messages that resonate with these emotions. Most small business owners want to market the positive side of their product or service. That simply doesn't work. There's an old saying when it comes to selling, an undisturbed prospect will never buy. Never forget that basic fundamental. You must understand the negative emotions that are in play with your prospects and then offer them a solution that will eliminate those negative emotions. Most prospects would rather eliminate pain than increase pleasure. Knowing this, we can now apply it to our prospective child care parents. They are suffering greatly as they drive to work with all of these negative emotions, with guilt leading the way. The only thing that will overcome these negative emotions, these hot button issues, is for this child care facility to somehow offer to position the parents as a fly on the wall. They have to find a way to give the parents the ability to see for themselves what is really going on at this facility. And they need this capability whether they're at work or home. They have to find some innovative way to make this happen. That's what row 3 in the thought process matrix is there for. This is your innovation row. This is where you begin to brainstorm all the different possibilities you may or may not be able to provide to your prospects and customers. But you won't know if you can provide them with innovative solutions if you don't write them all down on paper and begin to analyze them. And remember, no idea is a dumb idea. Remember to begin each of your innovation statements with the words "we could," so that we know we could eliminate a lot of the negative emotions our child care parents are feeling if they have the ability to physically see their child at child care. See if you think this innovative idea goes way, way beyond the scope of our current column 2 solution, which was simply handing a parent a written monthly report. If we could install WebWatch, a 24-camera surveillance system that allows parents to log on to a password-protected website and observe their child at any time during the day from either work or home. If you were a parent with a child in childcare, how would you feel if you discovered you had the ability to log on to a password-protected website and see exactly what your child was doing and how they were being treated any time you chose? Would you feel less guilty when you logged onto that site and saw for yourself firsthand that the staff was actively playing and entertaining your child? Would all of your negative emotions suddenly disappear as you personally witnessed your child laughing, squealing, and having the time of their life? Of course. And when that happens, do you think these parents would ever consider changing to another child care provider? Would they likely begin to tell others about your child care, recommending you to family, friends, and work associates? Would they be willing to provide you with testimonials? Would they gladly pay additional fees to have access to this type of service? Can you see how just this one innovation begins to help this child care separate their business from all of their competitors? Can you also see how this innovation provides this child care with a huge marketing advantage? They can now market this additional service as a standard part of the service they provide for all of their customers. This one innovation increases the value of the service they provide and will allow them to charge more than their competition does. Are you beginning to see why we said this section, when done properly, may help you to forever revolutionize your business? Please remember that in this innovation section, the child care owner is only writing down possibilities here. That doesn't mean they're committing to implementing any of them. In fact, before they implement any of their ideas, they should first review the costs associated with making those changes versus the projected revenue increases they could charge by implementing them. But I think you get the idea. In the case of this child care, they may elect to charge a monthly fee for access to WebWatch, or they may elect to provide it to all parents for free, knowing that it will generate a flood of referrals and new business. Let's take a look at our second example. In column 1, it says that the parents want staff members who don't get irritated or frustrated when dealing with kids all day long. Our current solution to that hot button is to rotate our staff members throughout the day to keep them fresh. That's okay, but it's not compelling. It doesn't get noticed. It doesn't stand out from what other child care facilities are also doing. So let's brainstorm. What if we could lower our staff to child ratio from our present 8-to-1 ratio down to 5-to-1 ratio, along with our staff, to spend additional quality time with the children every day? Doesn't that sound much more compelling to parents? In row 1, our third example says that the parents want to know for sure that their child is being well cared for by competent staff members. Our current solution to that hot button is to contact all past employers and listed references during the initial hiring process. But what if we could perform annual background checks and random drug screenings 4 times per year on all staff members? Doesn't that sound much more impressive and reassuring to parents considering child care than simply telling them we contact all past employers and listed references during the initial hiring process? That's all there is to this. Pretty simple, isn't it? And please remember, when you begin to create innovative ideas, there are no right or wrong answers. You're simply analyzing what each hot button means from your target customer's point of view. And if you get stuck on 1 or 2 of the hot buttons and can only come up with a single potential innovation, that's okay. It may only take a single innovative idea to revolutionize your business. And let me remind you once again of this very important point. There are no dumb ideas. Write down whatever ideas come to mind, no matter how crazy they may seem initially. But wait, we're still not done. Remember how we're using this thought process matrix to help us uncover the emotional components that are at play for our prospects? Do you also remember that benefits tap into the emotions of your prospects, whereas features tap into their logic? You want to make sure you define the specific benefits your prospects will receive from every innovation you record in row 3. This will provide you with the additional guidance when it comes time for you to decide which innovations to use. Row 4 in your thought process matrix is designed to help you capture that information. So in row 4, you must make sure you list the benefits for each innovation you list in row 3. Later, we can show you how to use those listed benefits in your marketing messages in such a way that it gets your target customers to respond. In our child care example, when our parents use WebWatch to see for themselves that our staff members are indeed providing a loving, caring environment, the benefits to the parents would sound like this. Your child will be made to feel at home and treated as if they were our own child. Our parents feel enormous relief and experience complete confidence and certainty, knowing that their child is receiving the finest child care available. Our parents feel they're in control, have greatly increased peace of mind, and no longer experience concern and worry most parents have regarding staff competence and safety. Are you starting to see why this works? Why these simple exercises produce multi-million-dollar businesses? Do you think any other child care facility goes through similar exercises? I guarantee you that none of them do. In fact, most facilities only compete on price. You will never have the business of your dreams if you're forced to compete on price. If you were a child care owner, I would want a facility that competes on value. Most prospects are more than willing to pay a much higher price if they see additional value in what I offer. In our child care example, if you were a parent, would you pay more money for a facility that offers a lower staff-to-child ratio, or that offers parents a way to see their child online anytime they choose? What parent wouldn't? So now it's your turn. We've included blank worksheets in the workbook accompanying this presentation to help guide you through this exercise. Just follow these examples we have provided and you will begin to fully understand the process your target customers use when they prepare to make a buying decision. Let's quickly recap what we've accomplished in this presentation. Our main purpose is to help you develop a solid foundation upon which you can build a highly successful business. That foundation demands that you know and understand who it is that represents your target customer, and then to immediately understand how that customer goes about making the decision as to whether they will buy what you sell. The tools in this presentation will help you figure this out by first defining the problems, frustrations, fears, and concerns your target customer typically faces when they do business within the industry you have chosen to service. Second, you want to verify that you do indeed offer a current solution that eliminates that problem forever from your target customers' lives. Third, look for potential innovative solutions that create massive value for your target customers. Innovations that will completely separate your business from all of your competitors. And fourth, write out all the benefits those innovations will provide to your target customers. Never forget that innovation is the key to success for small business owners. So take your time and come up with as many innovative solutions as you can. Just be sure they're based on the specific things your target customers want. Make it all but impossible for them to not do business with you. Create a situation where they literally say to themselves that they would be an absolute fool to buy from anyone else but you. If you do this, you will forever dominate your market. Your target customers want to feel special. They want to feel as though they're dealing with the expert that can help them solve their problems, concerns, and frustrations once and for all. They want a business that does things differently from everyone else who offers a similar product or service. They want a business that stands out from the crowd. They want a business they feel truly understands them, caters to them, and offers them exceptional value. But here's the great news. When they do find you, they're willing to pay a higher price to get this special treatment, as long as the value they perceive they will receive exceeds the price they will pay. For the business that does all of this, market domination is all but ensured. Prospects begin to appear almost out of thin air. They will begin to pay top price. They will insist on telling everyone they know about the exceptional value you provide to each and every customer you service. And maybe best of all, they will never leave you for a competitor, even a much cheaper one. In a future presentation, we'll teach you how to convey all of these benefits to your target customer throughout your marketing program. We'll show you a process you can use to generate real bottom line results by structuring the powerful and compelling information you uncover in this exercise so you can market to your prospects emotionally. Remember that our primary goal in the e-learning marketing system is to help you quickly yet effectively apply the basic fundamentals required to build a multi-million-dollar business. So until next time, here's to your success.